Welcome to the Manitowoc Maritime Bay Classic. This is day 4 of Tour of America's Dairylands. Pretty cool course. Some right-handers, some left-handers. Pretty technical, kind of short. Starts up this slight incline, and I believe there was a good little headwind on this incline too. And then into a pretty open right-hander, and there is a bump in the pavement here. You can see that yellow that guy just ran over. This turn has a gutter on the inside. You can see there's like a drain on the right there. Keep that in mind for later. If you chop that corner too hard, you definitely risk breaking a wheel. And then this left-hander here has a big bump on the inside too. You can definitely get rocked if you're going too fast. Get a little bucked off the bike. But some things to keep in mind. And then a right-hander that tightens into kind of a little bit narrow exit with that curb there. Another right-hander, left-hander, and then around towards the finish. So lots of turns, very quick succession. Kind of expecting maybe a move. We were going to feel it out throughout the race, but if the situation ever presented itself, we were gonna send it. So that was our approach for the day. This last corner, pretty much want to be first into, maybe second, through to the finish. But definitely top 5 wheels if you're going for the win. So that was our approach. Let's move on to the rest of the race. Got a little bit crazy. There were some moves off the front, like solo guys. People would bridge up to him. Here I am bridging to a move that I deemed somewhat threatening. Work hard, be humble, ever present at the front. I think this is Caleb Langrieb, who probably just took the rainstorm sprints. This is 5-10 minutes into the race, so it's separating over preems, which is a pretty big theme in Toad. And then Mendez up here on Hydro Pro, and Preston I also in this little move. And this foundation dude, I lost a lot of space there around Preston, and tried to get back up to this foundation dude, but I think most of the group was already pretty closely on us. But kind of reading that kind of stuff to see where the group was at. You can see Clayton on the left there, just moving back a little bit, getting a little pinched out. This corner got pretty contentious a lot of the times, which wasn't great, but nobody really had too big of an incident in front of me anyway. A little bit later on in the race, we've got, 20 minutes in, and Scott McGill sending an attack with, I think, Mac from Empire Racing. 5411, not really marking stuff. They would do a weird little marking thing sometimes where they'd have one guy on the front, and then he'd just kick it into the next gear. The guy on his wheel would just let it go. So that was their big attacking strategy a lot of the time. I decided I'd make a little move into the bottom 2 corners. Felt like if it lulled there, and you got a good gap before the headwind section on the uphill, you could actually create pretty good separation. And so that is what I did, and this was my big attack for the day. Did a lap solo, and then was actually pulled back by Evan Boyle here from Action. You can see me on the bottom there, berating him a little bit for pulling me back without teammates in there, and letting McGill go. I didn't really understand that move, but he's a strong dude, has the watts to keep it together. Wish he had bridged up to me, and we could have sent it off the front for a few laps. I had before in this race been off the front. 10 minutes in, I attacked with Jaden Yeager a few years ago, and we just stayed off the front for an hour until we got caught. And then Gibbons was actually there and ended up winning the race. A little bit of unsolicited contact between some riders there, and then everything was all right. We're just rolling through, I guess, letting him know he was there. Nolan right here in front of me with the Cat 2 leaders jersey, been sprinting pretty well. Coming through with 39 minutes to go. This corner gets a little iffy sometimes. Nolan lost his space there, and had to check up on the brakes, so we both had to spend some energy staying in position. that corner was one to dive bomb at the end, and yeah, there we go. Scott McGill, you can see he took like the inside a little bit farther. I think that manhole cover like definitely made people choose their lines kind of late. Going inside the manhole cover is actually a pretty good line, but changing it in the middle was something that happened all the time during this race. A little bit later on, 30 minutes to go, and one of the VFR guys was swinging wide, had one of the Mustang dudes like on his left, and just like unfortunate circumstances, Caleb Landgrebe got caught in like the wrong spot at the wrong time, overlapped wheels, and a wheel all of a sudden came like real deep into his front wheel, so he hit the deck at pretty high speed, which was unfortunate. Broke his bike, but apparently he was otherwise pretty okay. Interesting to see how that crash unfolded, not in one of the corners, but in a straight. So that was unexpected. Later on here, we got 8 minutes to go in the race, and stuff is going up the road. Like, there's big gaps to big groups up the road with 8 minutes to go. People seem to be getting tired, and other people were like bridging, but not doing full bridge maneuvers. I think Rainstorm had Fergus up there, so they were not willing to completely pull it back, doing more of a welding thing. See Work Hard, Be Humble, trying to get guys up there, and I want to follow that. I'm trying to stay as far forward in this as possible. I knew on this finish straight that there would be pretty big swarms, and I did not want to be on the back end of those swarms, so trying to save as much energy as I can, but also not losing a ton of position, which was easier thought than done on this course. So here I chose not to pull it back. Nolan eventually came around that guy, and then I jumped onto his wheel, trying to pull stuff back in corners as much as possible. Bigger groups seem to take the corners a little bit more chill, so a solo rider could jump across a little bit easier in some of those corners, especially when it like accordioned out. But you can see a lot of the dudes here. I think that's Cesar Marte up front, 3 Rainstorm dudes. We've got Clever Martinez all in the front. Maybe Zach Gregg up there, or Scott McGill, Echelon Boy. And yeah, it's getting a little weird. I'm on Clayton's wheel here, my teammate, and we're coming into 4 minutes to go. So just a few laps to go. I took the front up, but I was doing like a low tempo and trying to block the inside, and then the California dudes came around the outside, so had to kick it up a little bit just to keep in those top 10 wheels. I knew some goofiness was bound to happen in the back with that many corners and people just dive bombing like for most of the day. So rolling through with 2 laps to go around about, and I had already lost some position. I had gotten a little swarmed that last lap and decided to take a little bit of wind in order to be in front of the washing machine, in front of the swarm this lap. So ended up jumping on Luke Fetzer's wheel here. You see Wanarengo around the outside, losing some space to that Rainstorm dude. It's getting a little goofy now, but here we are going through the last lap, and I'm already lost position again, still in Clayton's wheel. So if we need to, we can kick it up. We should have jumped the inside here as hard as we can, but we were going pretty fast, and that closed pretty aggressively too. The inside seemed like, or the right side seemed like a good place to be here, and I had to check up there behind Clayton. Work Hard, Be Humble. I think that's Arango there, who did his little lead out duty, and yeah, Cesar Marte on the left here in actually the leader's jersey, trying to defend his lead here in the last lap. I'm on Clayton's wheel. We were planning to go a little early, but this was so strung out at this point. Florence Nauer chopped the inside there, lost some space, had to push Fergus Arthur to the outside on that last corner. And then these last few corners, we weren't expecting a lot of like shuffling in position here, but you see Ryan Gorman took the inside, 2 corners to go. Luke Fetzer pulling off, and now the sprint's kind of started. People are losing space. Luca taking that sharp inside line, and then yeah, I definitely was watching out for Florence's wheel. Had to drop chain from the Trek Blackhawk guy, and then I think I rolled in 16th. Clever Martinez ended up taking the win with Thomas Gibbons in second, and who was in third? I believe it was Lucas Burgoyne in third. But yeah, Clever got his first win, so that was pretty cool. Hard course, pretty tough racing, pretty wild. Anyway, see you for day 5. Thanks for watching.